What's going on, FBC Youth family? Reverend Davis here. I hope you're having a great day. Sunny, temperatures are warm out. I'm loving it. Just want to remind you that God is up to something. That's why I chose the song. It fits in so nicely with what we learned on Sunday at Children's Church. God was up to something in the life of Joseph. We want to unpack that just a little bit more because there are times in our lives when things are going wrong and we feel like there's no way God is in this. But in the life of Joseph, we got to see that all the bad things that happened to him, God was up to something. And at the end, Joseph forgave his brothers. And that's the lesson we want to hold on to. Let me pause the music because there's a word here. Yes, it was a story of forgiveness. One of the most important things we can learn as followers of Jesus is to learn to forgive. It's also one of the hardest things to do. So our lesson was about Joseph and how Joseph forgave his brothers. It was a story of forgiveness. But before it was a story of forgiveness, it was also a story of hatred and jealousy. His brothers hated him. Why did they hate him? Because their dad loved Joseph more than the others, bought him things that they didn't buy for the other brothers. And Joseph had these silly dreams which showed Joseph reigning over or ruling over his brothers and then ruling over his brothers and his parents. And Joseph said, see, this is what I dreamt last night. And they hated him so much that they wanted to do him harm. Have you ever been there where you were so angry with someone that you wanted to physically hurt them? Well, yeah, I've experienced that quite a bit when I was young. In our neighborhood, we would calling names and making fun and teasing people seemed to be one of the sports we would play, and they always seemed to pick on me. Maybe because I would get angry and I would chase 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, it didn't matter. I'd chase them, I'd throw rocks at them, I'd throw sticks at them, I'd run all over the city trying to catch them and do harm to them. I never really got to it. But it's a bad place when you are so angry you want to bring harm to somebody else. Just want to stop right there. If someone is hurting you in any way, whether it's verbally or physically, whether it's your family member at school or in your neighborhood, you need to let your parents know right away, and they will help you to deal with the situation. Don't try and deal with it yourself the way I tried to deal with it. So hold on to that. So this is what was going on. Joseph's brothers were so angry with him, they wanted to harm him, and then they eventually threw him into a pit, took that coat off that his dad had given to them, and then they sold him into slavery. And it was horrible that they could do that to Joseph. And Joseph had to be feeling so frustrated, so confused, so angry that they did this to him, and he didn't deserve it. They sold him to slavery. He was taken to Egypt. He was sold to another man. And this is what I love about the story of Joseph. No matter where Joseph was, God was with him and God prospered him. No matter what someone did that was not fair to Joseph, that was unjust to Joseph, God still prospered Joseph right where he was at. And God elevated Joseph so that he was in powerful positions, whether it was in someone's home, whether it was in the prison where he was thrown into, or whether it was in the highest court of the land, Pharaoh. God prospered Joseph so that he eventually became the second most powerful person in all of Egypt. And when things had it, where there was a drought and famine in the land and nobody had food, Joseph was the one in charge of distributing all the food that was stored up over the years in Egypt. And guess who showed up? Looking for food, because their land, they could no longer grow. It was Joseph's brothers. They showed up to Joseph to ask for food, to pay money for food. Now, they didn't know it was Joseph, but Joseph knew his brothers and recognized him. And eventually, Joseph revealed himself to his brothers. And his brothers were scared because they knew years ago they had done horrible things to Joseph. And now Joseph had a chance to pay them back and put them in jail or even have worse things happen to him. And Joseph said, no, I forgive you, my brothers, because what you intended for evil, God intended for good. Not so much that I could be good, but so that I can be used to save many people. So we never know the challenges that we face in our lives, what God is up to, and that God will be using to help other people and also to restore ourselves. So hold on to this. God is always with you. God will always help you. God will always strengthen you, and God will always provide for you. Our duty is when harm is done to us, let somebody know, let a parent or a trusted adult know. But also eventually we need to forgive them. Joseph forgave his brothers. Their relationships were restored. They were one family, one big family again. And they were free. So his brothers were free of the guilt that they had of what they did, and Joseph was free of the anger that he may have had towards his brother. And Joseph was used so that many could be saved. That's our job. That's our duty. It's not always easy. Forgive those who harm us, and God will bless us through the process. Amen. Have a great and wonderful day.